Hello, everyone. My name is Christian Eschbach, and welcome to another one of my album reviews. Hi there, everyone. We are talking about an album that came out in the 90s and changed the world. Alice in Chains, Alice in Chains. I can't read the release date on here. I remember it was in the 90s. I remember it was in the early 90s. And I think my opinion of this album has definitely gotten better over the years, but not a lot better. First half of the album, not bad. Second half of the album sucks my ass, for the most part. All right. Album opens up with Grind. Good way to open up the album. Also lets you know right away what to expect from the album. Brush Away. It's there. Sledge Factory is actually the first song on this album that annoys me. The guitar work is juvenile in a lot of cases. Really not a fan of this one. The whole way around, it's one of those albums, or one of those songs where I really think it should have been cut from the album. It shouldn't have gone on there. Heaven Beside You, one of the few Alice in Chains songs that I totally actually dig. Didn't care for it so much back in the day, and I do not like the unplugged version. I prefer this version here, which is technically unplugged-ish. But I definitely prefer this one over the unplugged version. The only downside to Heaven Beside You, it is the most basic style for Alice in Chains. Like, this is that slow drone that they do. Heaven beside you, heaven and hell. You know, it's just long droning, man. It's the one thing about Alice in Chains I've always had issues with, and I've mentioned this multiple times before, so I'm sorry if you're hearing it again. Head Creeps, not bad while it's playing. Again, I've actually talked about this song before because I believe this is off of the Last Action Hero soundtrack. I could be wrong on that one. Again, is one of those songs I remember it's gotten a lot of play, really decent tune, really enjoy it. But outside of this album, whatever. Shaming You, this is where the album starts to get really boring. Shaming You, Goddamn, So Close. Very basic Alice in Chains. If you're not paying attention, it just sounds like one continuously overlong song the whole way through with, different tempo changes and stuff like that. But it's just one giant on-running, droning song. Nothing Song. I don't like this song. This song is horrible. Another song that I really think should have been cut from the album. Guitar work, once again, I can't stand it. I think it's horrible on here. I think it's very juvenile and childish. The lyrics, I think, are very juvenile and childish as well. This was really one of those songs that if a producer had put his foot down and said absolutely not, go back, rework it, do the lyrics better, do something, it might have been something, but it's nothing song. It's a filler. Frogs, another one. I don't find it overly impressive. I find it kind of fillerish. And then the album finishes with Over Now, which I don't mind, even though it is a slower song for the most part. The whole way around, I'm not a fan of this album. And in all honesty, when I look at the way a lot of the artwork is on here and whatnot, I'm sure that they were trying to be progressive in a manner of speaking, but in other ways, I find, like them using old styled artwork to try and justify putting in stuff that by today's standards definitely just, even by those days standards, would not have been socially acceptable. For some of this stuff. Not all of it, but some of it. The whole, I'm not I'm not a fan of Alice in Chains. I'm really not. Alice in Chains is definitely one of those bands that you put a greatest hits album together. I might enjoy a greatest hits album from beginning to end because they do release some good songs. There are songs on this album I think are honestly some really choice songs. Grind isn't bad. Again isn't bad. Uh, Heaven Beside You and Over Now. Those four songs alone really make this album kind of flourish. And Over Now was a great way to end the album. But I'm not a fan. This would not be enough to make me a fan for Alice in Chains, would not be enough to get me into Alice in Chains, not enough for me to really do much with it. Now, if you like grunge, if you were looking to get into grunge, if you were looking to explore grunge, is this a good album to start with? Sure, it's a good album to start with if you were exploring Alice in Chains. Grunge as a whole, it's one example. Mix this up with some other grunge albums, sure, this one, In Utero, maybe Super Unknown from Soundgarden, Pearl Jam 10, Hole, Live Through This. Take those 5 CDs, I say 5, whatever. Put them together into a CD player, hit random or shuffle on it. Could be really interesting. On its own, bore the hell out of me. Really had a hard time sitting through this album. Honestly, again, I kind of wanted to really turn it off. Now, that's it. Those are my views, my opinions, my thoughts. I'm not an Alice in Chains fan. I've never been one. I probably never will be. So I'm never going to give these albums overly high kudos and praise because my complaints are always the same on every single album. Whether or not Lane Staley's in the band or not, because I believe I've covered the first album they did after him. Black Gives Way to Blue or Black and Blue or whatever it is. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. Where is it? It is right up here in my cabinet. Or it is not. Yeah. Sorry about that. It is Black Gives Way to Blue. Doesn't matter. This one or Black Gives Way to Blue, it's still the same complaints. Still nothing changing. It's still grunge, Alice in Chains, droning. I'm done. Leave me your comments. Let me know what you think. I know I'm hard on this one. It's okay to tell me I'm being too hard on this one. Hit the like button, the subscribe button, the bell for notifications. That helps me out, helps you out. There is a link below that will take you to the TWA, that is the Trampoline Wrestling Association, and I'm a big fan of that. I really enjoy it. It's one of my favorite projects. And also to my Patreon. There is some cool stuff coming there. I don't update it often enough, but I do put some stuff on there to make it worthwhile. Anyways, folks, peace, love, take care.